Welcome to the Metals Investment Forum. It's my pleasure to have Alpha Exploration, the only company, to the best of my knowledge, that KERKASHA invests in the African continent. Well, we have here Alasdair Smith, Technical Director. Welcome, Alasdair.
Thank you very much.
So you have a very exciting story. I was told that you are looking for one of the largest gold deposits in the world. So tell us what you have and what's your plan?
Sure. Well, first up, we stumbled across it effectively. The license we have is about 771 square kilometers, but within that, we've discovered a porphyry copper gold, an orogenic gold, and a VMS, which is almost unprecedented for a junior company to have that in one license area in one country. And they're all got tremendous merit. They were all sort of level pegging about 12 months ago, but now the orogenic gold discovery is really starting to give us the impression that this could be something of real scale. It's over about just over 7 kilometers in strike that we have in surface anomalous mineralization from surface sampling and trenching, and we've drilled 4 areas of that, and we're getting strikes in every area and of ore grade levels and widths. So yeah, we're sort of moving our focus. As a junior company, we can really only handle one at a time of any scale. So we're at an inflection point as a company. If this goes well for us over the next 12 months, then it will underpin the company, and that we can really develop the porphyry and the VMS after that.
Wow, great! Well, you have a 3-in-1, so that's a great problem to have.
It is, but it is something we have to manage very carefully as a junior. Otherwise, we could fall over. So but we have a good mix of talent within the company. We have very experienced geologists that have moved projects from discovery right through to mine development, and we also have financial people on our board as well that are very experienced. So it's a good blend, a good mix, and things are looking very good for us at the moment.
Great. Well, tell us what's the typical drill results you have in the last drilling campaign, and what you're looking for the next.
Typical what, sorry?
Drilling results.
Oh yeah. So we've had things. We've drilled 4 areas in our sort of number 1 project, which is the Aberna project. We've drilled 4 areas. We're getting things like 20 meters at 7 grams gold. We're 15 or 10 meters at 5 grams, 5.8 grams. These are not unusual. And in all 4 areas where we've drilled, I think the worst result was 20 meters at about 1.3. So, and that's still not too bad in terms of a first pass.
Yeah.
How deep are
those? How deep are those?
They're in the area that's had the most drilling. There's 23 drill holes. 5 of those are diamond, and we've got some very good results in one of the diamond holes. There's basically 3 lodes that we've picked up. So even though our intercepts, when I talk about things like, say, 15 meters at 5.8 or something like that, then there's a blank spot. Then we go into the next zone, sort of 10 meters at 5 grams in the next. So there's like 3 lodes. This is very early days for us, and it's open to depth. We've really only drilled down to maybe 100 meters vertical at the most.
The most, only 100?
Only 100 meters vertical at the most, and it's all open. And there's 4 areas that have these kinds of results. So it's pretty exciting. And we think we could be into something that has the potential to be a tier 1, but we'll see. And I say that because the surface expression is 7 kilometers now, and everywhere we're drilling, we're getting ore grade intercepts and widths. So, it's pretty exciting at this stage.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
How does it compare to other world-class gold mine in the area?
Well, for example, so you have the Arabian-Nubian shield. That's the area we're working in. On the Nubian or African side of the shield, you have one outstanding deposit in Egypt, and really not much else. And that's Centamin's Sukari deposit. That's 17 million ounces, but just over 1 gram per ton is the average. But within that, there's high grade zones and they can underground. But that's sort of it's a one-trick pony so far, and there will be more, but that company has been able to develop that over the last 10 years. Then you have places like Sudan, which again has has some good deposits, but none of them have really been able to be developed in a modern way. So some of these are quite old deposits.
Okay.
And then in Ethiopia, most of the money in terms of modern exploration has gone to Ethiopia. Almost nothing has been brought to account. Eritrea, by contrast, where we are, has had very a fraction of the money. The strike rate is extraordinary. So there are 2 operating mines, one world class, the Bisha VMS mine, the Zara gold deposit that I was involved with, the discovery of that. And then there's 2 more that are permitted for mining. One is the Asmara project. Again, that was the first project I came in to Eritrea with in 2000. That's got 4 deposits, VMS and gold. They often occur together, VMS and gold, just because of the same systems they use. And then the final one is a potash deposit, and that's world-class again, and that's right down in the southeast. So Eritrea has been able to bring these things to account because it's basically an incredibly stable jurisdiction.
That's my next question. Go on.
Yeah, I mean, what you have to look at as an explorer, what I look at is it's all very well having an environment that has great potential deposits. It's pointless if you can't bring them to account. So the first thing you've got to look for is stable governance. And you need about a 15-year runway minimum, up to 20 years, to go from exploration where you don't know anything. You find it, you do the early development, then you do your feasibility studies, then you build a mine. You're talking about minimum 10 years, usually 15. So you need all the governance to stay stable, or you're going to lose investment and you may even lose the project. So Eritrea is the reason they have brought these mines to account, where the other countries, much larger countries and larger exposures to the Nubian Shield haven't, is because the governance is very stable and they're straight. They don't change. They keep the law the same. It's the same act I'm dealing with from 1995. It's still the same act. So you can commit as an explorer. The geology is good enough to make good discoveries, and you can bring them to account.
Wow, excellent. How long have you been there?
I first arrived in August 2000, and since then I had a brief period, about 4 years, where I was away back. I worked in Australia. I'm a New Zealander, but I've done work in the past in Australia. I went back for about 4 years to Australia, but as soon as the opportunity came to come back to Eritrea, I was keen to do it. So I've spent 18 years really in Eritrea.
So what other project you got involved in the prior cycle?
So where are we going to go next is what you said?
Last cycle, what was the prior discovery you had?
Oh, okay. So in Eritrea, there was the Asmara project, which is now permitted for mining. So there were 3 deposits at the point where I took it over. They were already known. They'd been discovered by the Japanese back in the 1970s, as well as Ethiopia, when Ethiopia occupied Eritrea. So they were known about, but they'd been abandoned. So we picked it up as I was the exploration manager for an Australian junior company then, and we picked those up because there'd been a war from 98 to 2000 between Eritrea and Ethiopia. Prior to that war, there was a sort of a very good peaceful period from 1990 to 1998, where Eritrea and Ethiopia were good friends. And so it was interesting. Most of the majors focused on Eritrea, even they could go to other countries. Eritrea so they had Anglo-American, they had Western Mining, which was a big Australian company in those days. They had Ashanti. They had, the majors chose to be in Eritrea because, they felt it was stable. The geology was very good. Then there was a 2-year war and everybody left. Now I knew about all of that work. So I came in as soon as the war finished. There was no one there that had, abandoned it. And I was able to pick up that Asmara project with 3 known deposits on it. And then we developed that for several years. This is from 2000 to about 2003 and 4. You may remember that was a very difficult time to raise money in the market. And a Canadian company formed and took that over from us. They earned it and took it over, Sunrich Gold. They took it through, they made another big discovery, Mbadero, on that, took it through to feasibility and sold it to the Chinese.
No.
And what's happened is these discoveries in Eritrea, up to from 2000 to 2008 when I was in there, was mainly Western companies, Canadian, Australian, and British companies were doing all the exploration and making discoveries. And then from 2008 onwards, there was a lot of pressure from the West. This is political, quite outside of the geology, came in, and it was difficult for those companies to get financing from Western groups. So they sold them to Chinese groups, and the Chinese have benefited very well, and they're doing a good job, but they're benefiting from that early work that was done by the
Western companies.
Well, Eritrea
Including you.
Yeah, but Eritrea is very keen, because they know me well, and they're very keen for the Western companies to come back in. Like that's politics that is actually largely resolved now. Eritrea and Ethiopia are very good friends these days, and so I see another cycle where there will be Western companies coming back in, all going well. Yeah.
Well, great. Good luck. Hope to see another great discovery like you did last time.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Cheers.